everyone, I hope you're doing well. I am well, I'm grateful. It's a great morning, so I woke up well, and today is a beautiful day. And I thought about talking about one of the instances where my self-esteem was really low, and that was around about the time when I completed my education. So that was in 2015 after completion of my college, my university degree. And on this particular morning, I was preparing to go and pick my gown, so my graduation gown. So what happens is once you're done with your school, because we completed school at around April, so all the classes and all the exams were completed at around April, and then we had several months outside the school, and then the graduation was in December. So this was around end of November when I was going to pick my graduation gown. And this morning I woke up, I got ready, and then I left home. But then when I got out of our homestead, our home was located in an area where there's no highway around. So you have to either take a motorbike to the highway or take a tuk-tuk. So, the three-wheeled vehicle. Yeah, or you can walk to the highway. But this day, I just wanted to board a motorbike. So I stood by the roadside and waited for a motorbike. But someone came along. There was one respectable guy in the village, and he was rich and he was friendly. By the way, I had never interacted with him like before that, but we knew each other. Like I would say that's the guy, and he would also recognize me. So, and the way in village life sometimes, like if you're going to the highway, someone can give you a lift, or they can pick you in their own car if they have a personal vehicle. Yeah, so that's what happened. So I got this lift, and okay, this guy asked me, oh, so where are you going to? And I said, I'm going to Nairobi. He was also going to work, and so we were going the same direction. So yeah, he said, yeah, come in, let's go. And fine, I got in. And so during the way, there were other people in the car, so they were talking. I'm not really so chatty. I'm an introvert. I'm just quiet. So along the journey, like I was just quiet, and the other people were talking and chatting and all that. So until we reached now the city center, and some of them alighted. Everyone is alighting according to where they want to go. So if the place you're going to is closer, then you just alight. So we were left, the two of us, in the car, and then now it was just silent because I was going to University Way, and the guy, I don't know where he was going. He had a company around somewhere there. So he told me, okay, so you're going to University Way, I'm going to drop you around this place, or yeah. So we were just left there. So I was just quiet, okay, and then so he started asking, so what do you do nowadays? And I told him, I'm already done with school. And so he asked, which school? Is it high school? No, I told him I'm done with university. Oh, and he was shocked because I was so tiny. I was really tiny. Yeah, and then I told him that actually now I'm looking for a job. I haven't found a job. And then I knew that this was the opportunity, of course, to sell myself, to market myself, because I had heard from their conversations that he has a company, like he's an engineer, and he has a company, and he has employed some people in his business. Yeah, so I was thinking, wow, maybe God has brought this guy to me, so now I can market myself, and he probably maybe has an opportunity that I can be interviewed for, or something like that, or even know someone. You never know. So I was excited. I was this young girl there. I was so tiny. I was really thin and short. So I was so small. So he in fact thought that I was talking about finishing high school. Yeah, then when I told him I'm done with university, oh, he was extra shocked, and he didn't even believe it. So I had to even tell him that, I'm actually going for my graduation gown, and we are having our graduation next month. Yeah, then so I told him, by the way, honestly, if you have any opportunity, or of anyone that is hiring, or even if it's an internship or a volunteer position, I'm ready to do, because I don't have any kind of experience. Yeah, so his reply at that point was the one that made me to feel so low, because he told me that, and I'll just say exactly what he said. He said, wewe na venye uko mdogo hivi, nani atakuandika kazi? Like that's Swahili, like to mean you, and the way you are this tiny, who's going to employ you? Like, and he really meant it. He really meant it. I wonder, like, why would someone say that? Even me right now, even if I see someone is really small, I wouldn't tell them something like that. So at this time, I was thinking to myself, honestly, like, this was something really bad to tell someone who is looking for an opportunity, and who is very desperate, who is just done with school. And I was so desperate, and I had been moving from job to job, office to office, searching for jobs. So yeah, and he was so serious. He was telling me that no one is going to accept to employ me. I'm too small. I look too young. I just look like a person who should go back to school, who should be studying, who should be in high school or something. Like, do something for yourself, like grow big, eat. I don't know. And I don't know the mentality that is in a lot of Africans, by the way, who are so backwards. And they think that someone's appearance, someone's physical appearance is equivalent to how work worthy they can be, or employability. Yeah, a lot of people really put people down just because of how they look. And that really affected me, even in other areas of my life, because in my first employment, which was out of the country, I actually lost that employment just because of how I looked, how small I was, the weight I had. I think I'm going to put a picture here of how I was, because I was around 37 kilograms in weight. Yeah, and then I was 4 feet 11. So you can see I was so tiny, but it doesn't mean that someone should just put me down because of how I am, or just because they see that I'm really small. And I look back at that moment, and I just feel sorry for myself, because it put me back by way it put me back so much, because I stopped doing a lot of things. It suddenly confirmed to me that I'm not worthy, that I'm not capable. And that's something that I was fighting. That's something that I had grown up dealing with, because in every kind of crowd, I was always among the smallest. So yeah, I was always among the smallest, if not the smallest. Like, a lot of people will take that as a sign of incapability, which is really wrong. So right now, I really applaud people who I see coming out and being very confident in themselves, in their bodies, in their skin, people having something that can potentially put them back, but they use it to their benefit. I really applaud those people. And at least I was able to go past that. But it took me a lot of time. It took me a lot of time, because you imagine, I did an interview when I was in Kenya, and the interview was on Skype. So this is a company that was looking for an employee, and the company was based in Dubai. So we did an interview on Skype, and then a month later, they confirmed and told me that I passed the interview, and we began the process of processing the visa, and then I flew to Dubai. Then guess what? On the first day when I reported to work on that morning, my boss was not in the country. So I reported to work, and then because I didn't have a workstation, I was directed to the boardroom. So that's where I stayed for, I think, an hour or two. So I just sat there in the boardroom, and no one was attending to me. So I tried to ask the people who were in the office, could you give me something to do, something to read, so I can just familiarize myself with the work here. And they just told me that there's nothing for now. You just first stay in the boardroom. One of the ladies was the one who told me, nothing for now, just stay in the boardroom. I will talk to our boss. He's in his home country. So he was not in Dubai. Yeah, he was in Malaysia. No, Indonesia. Indonesia. He was in Indonesia at the time. And then, so the lady was telling me that, okay, I will talk to our boss, and I will ask him what he wants from you, like the directions on where to put me or something like that. Yeah. So I continued staying in the boardroom. And in the boardroom, there was a camera at the end of the boardroom, at the end of the room. So I was seated across, opposite, just there was a long table. So I was seated at the end, and then just opposite, there was a camera at the top. So yeah, and then so I was just seated there. There was nothing I could do but wait. Then I just heard a voice, someone talking. And I had not even seen the camera at that time. So I was wondering, I didn't know if it's inside the boardroom or it's outside the boardroom. So I didn't say anything, and I didn't even understand what was said by the voice. So I just sat there. I didn't do anything. But then, so that whole day just passed. I think I went to the reception, I checked how people are working. I walked around. Yeah. And then that day just passed. And then the following day, now the boss is reported to the office. And, so we had time with the boss. After some time, we had a talk with the boss. And he was saying, okay, hi, yeah, hi. So are you the one we spoke to on Skype in Kenya? Yeah, and I told him, yes, I'm the one. We had a long interview. It was about an hour on interview. So, and then he asked me, are you really the one, or are you lying to us? I told him I'm the one. I know you, and I know your the other lady who was in the interview, because it was a panel interview. It was him and another lady and another one. So I had already met them. So, and then now I met the boss himself after he came back from Indonesia. I told him, yeah, I'm the one. Then I told him, no, you don't look like you're the one. You don't look like the girl we interviewed on Skype. So what do I tell him now? If someone is convinced that I'm not the one, I told him I'm the one. I don't know how I can, at this point, I don't know how I can prove to them, because we did the interview on Skype. I don't have a screenshot so he was just talking. No, I really doubt you're the one. Then he was like, have you completed school? Yeah, I told him I've completed school. I had already sent to them my papers, my high school completion certificate and my bachelor's degree certificate. We had already settled all these documents during the interview process. It was over a month of interviewing and feedback and all the emails. So they had all my details. And so he asked to see the papers again. I showed him, and he was like, no, you're not the one. You're so small. You don't look like you've completed high school. Imagine. Imagine. So at this point, I don't know what to do. I had already showed them all the proof, all my certificates. I showed them everything I could show. There was nothing else I could do. Then I'm in a new country. I'm so, I'm not used to speaking to people who are not Kenyan. So I'm afraid, and I'm not even used to the corporate world. So I was very timid, naive. I was just so quiet. And at this point, with all these questions, I just felt, and then I was used to, people referring to me as a small girl, incapable. So I was used to it. So it was confirming to me that, hey, this job will not work. Do you know, for the next 2 months, things didn't go well. I just lasted in that job for 2 months. It was a horrible experience. And by the way, when I spoke to the boss told me that previously, when he was still in Indonesia, he saw me on the camera, on the CCTV camera, and he called his wife. So when they were in Indonesia, they both watched me over the camera. And his wife had also seen me previously in the Skype interview. So yeah, so they were watching me on the camera, and he was telling me that, my wife also saw you, and she also said that you don't look like the same person who was at the Skype interview. So, and he also told me that he tried to talk to me on the camera. So on that day, when I heard a voice, when I was in the boardroom and I heard a voice, it was coming from the camera, and it was the boss who was talking to me. So, and I was wondering seriously, how do you do that? How do you start talking to a new staff on the first day, shouting on the camera, on the CCTV camera? And that's what he was doing. He told me. So, so at this point, what do you do? He's confirming that he does not think I'm the same person who interviewed on Skype. And he's also saying that his wife also saw me, and she confirms that I'm not the one. I'm not the one they interviewed on Skype. So anyway, it was a whole, there was a lot of issues aside from, me being small and all that. Anyway, I was able to move past that. I think if I was more confident in myself, if I had a higher self-esteem, I believed in myself, I would have been able to negotiate for myself, and talk for myself. I would have been able to stand my ground on day 1 or day 2 and tell them, okay, this is not what's going to happen. This is what is going to happen. So I learned my lesson, and it's a growing, like growth is a process. It's not a one day thing, and at least now I'm way better than I was at that time, and I'm grateful for everything that has happened along the way, and I embrace it and take it positively as a learning opportunity and a way to better myself and to be better in the future. So yeah, in life I just learned to appreciate myself, accept myself for who I am, and the things I cannot change, just accept them. Love myself first and show people how I want to be treated. Because usually people will treat you the way you show them and the way you show up. I really had to work a lot on my self-esteem in order to like just help myself. And one of the things that I learned is there's no one coming to save me. Like I just have to do this myself. And I'm going to talk about some of the things I did to change my mindset. I think that's going to be a long talk, but I'm going to talk about that because it's played a huge role in shaping the rest of my future, in corporate. So yeah, I'm going to talk about that. So I just want to encourage anyone who might be facing, such kind of situation, and it might be anything. Maybe you are small like me. At this time, I'm not that small as I was, but maybe you're facing some kind of discrimination because of your physical looks. Yeah, you just have to like show up how you want others to treat you. Be confident in yourself, and a lot of times, confidence is the one that helps us to have others take us in a more serious manner. Because I have seen people who are really tiny, people who are small, but the confidence they elude is too big, and I really applaud those people. And that's what I began to do. I just worked on myself, and knowing that I just have to do it on my own and not wait for anyone, to change or to come say sorry to me and to, no, I just had to do it on my own, and it worked for me. So yeah, it should for you too, in case you are in such a situation. And I really wish the best for you in your journey to self-confidence. So all the best, and bye bye.